What's up, everybody, and welcome to Indie Game Impressions. The game in front of you is called In Ruins. It was created by Tom Betts, who's the lead programmer at the studio Big Robot. And Big Robot is currently working on a game. It's a shooter called Sir, You Are Being Hunted. And one of the big elements of the game is procedural generation. Now, In Ruins is kind of like a showcase or a tech demo of that procedural generation technology, where worlds are actually created completely through mathematical formulas and can be randomized, and every time you create the world is actually created when you open up the game, and every single time you open up the game, the world itself is different. The game does this by mixing and matching many different elements, using algorithms to create different structures and such, and that's the result that you see here. This environment is completely randomly generated, all the power-ups are randomly generated. So basically how the structure of the game works is you're in this world, and you have to get to the top of a tower, but you can only jump so high. So the way you increase your jumping ability is you collect those little beacons of light, and collecting those allows you to jump much higher than you were able to before. So you can kind of see here, that's what I'm doing, trying to collect a couple orbs of light before I make the final jump for the tower. Every time you collect a light, a bit of poetry comes up. A couple lines. It's a very pensive, thoughtful game. Not very, of course, not very action-oriented. Really quiet. You can kind of hear ambient noise in the background. The art style is really, actually really great. It almost reminds me of sort of Gothic architecture. Everything's made out of stone, lots of towers. For those of you who have a bit of technology or game development background, it was actually created in the Unity game engine. So you can see my jumping ability has increased quite a bit. Should probably collect more beacons of light before I attempt the final jump. Very nice piano noises in the background. They kind of set the mood. Very sad mood. So I'm gonna attempt the tower climb. I think I may have collected enough light beacons. Oh, it's a bit too rushed, a bit too much there. Try that again, and this time don't fall off. See if I can make this jump. Oh no, just barely missed it. I guess I have to collect a couple more light orbs before I can finally make that height. Collect these orbs here and then move on. As you can see, my jumping ability has increased significantly throughout the course of the gameplay. Day and night cycles actually help keep the landscape interesting. The sun looks really great. Skyboxes are awesome. Can probably make the jump this time. Yes, there, I made it. And now the water starts to rise. And I'm not actually sure if this is the end of the game. I see what it is, but once the water starts to rise very, very quickly. You can't actually go too deep in water, and you die. So the entire city starts to sink slowly underneath the water. You can't really do anything. I assume this is the end of the game. Visual effects are actually quite nice. You can see rain and stuff. So that was In Ruins. It's a really great game. Of course, it's more of a showcase than it is it's not really meant to stand on its own as a work. It's really more of a showcase for the procedural generation techniques. But I liked it. It's very thoughtful and very pensive. Certainly a great game to check out if you have a couple minutes to spare. And actually, once you beat the first cycle, you actually are allowed to change the options for the procedural generation. So you can set how many towers there are, how many beams there are, how many different sorts of structures are found in the environment. So that's In Ruins, everybody, and this is Indie Game Impressions signing off.